What's up, what's up, what's up, my friends? Welcome. Get ready. Grab a snack and a bevy. It's time for you and I to have a chit-chat. Straight up facts. Tell it like it is. Laugh till you pee your pants. Cry because you probably needed to. And I can't promise, and I'm not going to throw any F-bombs, but I can promise you'll feel a lot better after listening. It's time to get personal, one-on-one, down and dirty, and have a coffee talk. Buckle up. Let's go. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another coffee talk. I am Denise Sith, and happy Saturday to the last Saturday of the month in January 2024. Where the hell was the month gone? So if you're hanging out this year, you better saddle up, bitches, because it's already whooping by. No, for real, like it's really gone crazy. So I have been reading and doing audibles. Okay, I'm like really trying to do at least, back to back to back. And I cannot do Hollywood anymore. So for instance, like some movies I can see, some movies I can't. We went to see Wonka. I really loved it. I knew nothing about like that Timothy Chalamet or whatever the hell his name is. I don't know. I don't follow anybody in Hollywood. Haven't in like 10 years. So I have no clue who anybody is outside of anybody that I already knew. Does that make sense? So I want to see the new Aquaman, but I do not want to like see Amber Heard. So I feel bad for Aquaman because I like him as an actor, but it's like, whatever. Sorry, dude. It's going to have to wait till that baby streams so I could see it at home. So I just, I have trouble supporting Hollywood right now. So I'm like, but I still want to entertain myself. So one of the things I've been doing is I use Audible. And so, I also listen to my podcast on that platform in addition to Podbean. There you go. So I have been listening to these audibles, and I'm currently, I do documentaries. So I'll watch documentaries and then I'll find ones that I can read. And I like individual documentaries, and I try to pick people that I don't know so I can kind of learn something extra. You know what I'm saying? And I some people are going to hear this right now and be like, wait, what? Because I really do not follow up with anybody. I don't follow anybody. I don't know people. Okay. So I'm trying to find the name of this because I'm not going to be able to remember her name. But I looked at this book by, where is it? Oh, I got to go under my finished. Hello. Here we go. Wow, where do they all go? I don't even know where they go after this. So I'm going to just Google it. Anyway, as I'm listening to all these different documentaries, let's see if I put her name in here. It was a pretty, the name was very unique. And everyone's like, oh, you're probably mixing it up with these people. And I'm like, I don't know who those people are either. Okay, so what I was reading was a book about J.C. Lee Dugard. Dugard. I don't know. Anyway, she wrote a book. And apparently she was kidnapped, abducted, while walking off the street, walking to her school bus in Myers, California. It's crazy because this was like June 1991-ish. I think it was 1991. Oh my gosh, I think so. Anyway, so how crazy is this? Is that she was in captivity by these, and it wasn't just the man who kidnapped her. It was the man and his wife. And she bore two of his children while in captivity. First one at 14, and she was kidnapped, I believe, at 11. And she didn't go home until like 29. What? Like, how do I not know about this? Because I never watch the news. That's why. But let me tell you, if you are interested in even reading a book like this, I would literally tell you that I would recommend the book. Definitely. She wrote 2 of them. I listened to both. The first one is by J.C. Dugard, A Stolen Life. And then there's a second one called Freedom. I recommend you get the book and read it like manually, like with your own eyes. I got the Audible version, and I don't mean any disrespect on her behalf, but she has a very, her voice is annoying. Her voice is annoying. She is reading her own words. There is absolutely either no emotion or inappropriate emotion. She is not a trained book reader, like a book actor. And I really think that in the future, if she wrote another book, I honestly think she needs to hire one. It was so hard to get through these fucking books. But I was compelled by her strength and her ability to overcome all the things she did. So it was difficult. It is a trigger book. So you definitely don't want to be reading this if you have any kind of sexual assault background that, you know, you've had those triggers or any post-traumatic stress. Then there's the I kept saying Dugars and they're like Dugard. Well, which one is it? Is it Dugars or Dugard? And I'm like, wait a minute, who the Dugars? Duggars? I don't know. But apparently there's a whole damn movie about this. And let me tell you, I do not watch reality outside of The Real Housewives of OC, which I have not watched this year because they were just too petty ass shit the last season. So I have not seen this current season. And Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which also got like stupid petty, like too political, like real bad girl, like just mean girl shit. I can't get down with that. I cannot get down with that. So I'm like, no thanks. So then I'm like, wait, who the hell are the Dugars or Duggars? So apparently there's a whole damn group of people who have like 19 kids or some shit. And I'm like, wait, what? This is insane to me. I can barely handle one. Like, what are you talking about? So I read the book by Jill Duggar called Counting the Cost. But apparently, like Ginger, and there are multiple ones. But apparently, like Ginger also wrote a book, and all their names start with a J, which I think is weird right there. But if you do that in your family, sorry, not sorry. It was just weird. So apparently they were all grown up in this IBLP ultra conservative Christian group with this leader who in the long term now has been accused of multiple situations of sexual assault and apparently lives in Illinois. And I'm like, wait, what? I think his name is like Bill Gothard. Gothard? I don't fucking know. God, I can never remember anything. That also was an eye-opening, like just, I mean, these children are raised in this IBLP, which I never heard of, and I forget what it stands for again. I'll Google it. IBLP, the Institute of Basic Life Principles. Okay? It's freaking in Hinsdale, Illinois. That's where my son was born, in the hospital there. Not obviously at IBLP headquarters. So, yeah, not there. But I mean, it's a pretty influential area in Hinsdale, Illinois. But it's interesting that these this organization basically states that this ultra conservative Christian organization basically states that the children are and the wife are under the rule of the father, and even into adulthood, you are basically under the rule of the father. They say parents, but the wives are basically just responsible for shooting out babies. And I'm like, wait, what? And it's just mind-blowing to me that we're in 2024 and this shit still exists. Because it is literally a breeding ground for sexual abuse. Because this father also, and no, the Dugars were not their father, it was their brother, who obviously everybody knows, I think his name was Josh, wound up going to school to jail for sexual pedophilia, and child sex crimes and all this other shit. Like, and he had touched all his sisters, or a majority. I know he touched Jill because it was in her fucking book, but at no time were the boys ever reported. They were sent to work camp. And it's just mind-blowing to me. Like, this, not only is this your kid touching your other kids, but you literally, they almost made it seem like it was the girls' problems. And that just infuriates me, that the shit's still going on in today's world. It's so archaic. And I have huge issues with these moms who are shooting out kids like fucking Uno cards, okay? And they are not there to protect them. That is just a no contact for me. Like, I just can't put those together for me. So that is a good book. So I thought that was a good book. And it made me, like, it opened me up to what the hell this organization was, what the hell the Dugars and counting were, and all this other shit. So I didn't know nothing about any of that. So am I watching the show? I am indeed not. But, you know, to me, it helps to be aware that this stuff happens. And I thought, God, what a one-off. Like, that's crazy, right? And then, of course, now Audible is like suggesting books to me. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to have to pick something else to rock this up. Then it suggests this book, Unspeakable, which I thought, because it was the title reached out to me, because Peter's favorite YouTube star is Unspeakable. It is his channel. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to get that, whatever. So I'm literally like halfway through it. And I'm like, here we go again. Like, oh, buckle up. This one is even more infuriating than the Duger story. So Unspeakable is written by Jessica Willis Fisher, which is apparently, she's part of the Willis clan, who also did a TLC show. Stay away from TLC, people. That channel is the devil, okay? They also had like 12 kids, 13 kids, which I'll never understand how they're all just like, I was assigned a buddy when I was 11. And you're responsible for your sibling. Like, you're raising your sibling because your mom is just too fucking tired. Let's be honest, okay? I'm like, wait, what? How about we just stop having fucking kids? But it is insane. And all these people are building $1 million homes, but not paying their children anything. But it's somehow they're being abused mentally, physically, sexually. It's unbelievable. So I'm reading about this Jessica. Now, she reads her own book, and she is very well written. She is very well spoken. She has, it is, I love hearing it in her voice. I feel like she has so much passion that comes through, but that in some terms that she's like literate. And I like I said, I don't mean any against the first girl, you know, but JC, obviously not in school since she was 11. There may be some just reading and I just feel that she was poorly advised when it came to her book, because when I went to look at all of I went to leave my review and said, hey, it was a compelling book. It was just very difficult to listen to because of the poorness and how it was being read. But then when I read the other reviews, pretty much everybody agreed with me, but said that they would definitely recommend the actual book you read yourself. So this Jessica Willis Fisher, she was being sexually abused by her father, molested. I don't know, like, does it matter, right? And he's this like big Christian authority, and it just, I can't. Like, I fucking can't. That they're going to tell her who she could date, who she can't. They always line them up. She did like fiddling and musician stuff and Irish dancing, and they're like, we didn't even do any of that. They just shoved us into doing this stuff, and we wound up doing it okay. Probably because if they didn't, they were getting their asses beat. Mom's getting beat. She keeps having kids, even after they told her she had like a health scare with a baby. They told her not to get pregnant, that she should probably be careful. Got pregnant 6 months after that. It's like, what? And father, narcissist, blaming, evil. And I'm like, how is this me? How? And this mom was well aware. He seemed to like have kids like in groups of 4. So he had basically every decade, he had 4 or at least one more new girl to molest. I'm like, are you kidding me? For 4 decades, this man molested his daughter or daughters, okay? And the mom was aware after this one, the oldest one. But yet, yeah. Oh, you really need to get help. You need to read more Bible. You need your fucking ass beat, and I be locking that bitch up in fucking prison. I don't understand. Like, I love God. I believe in God. God and Jesus is my savior. However, that shit goes down at my house. Anything happens to my kids, God's going to understand that I'm going to fucking report whoever it was. What? That's crazy. Oh, and I don't understand. The father apparently is doing time, as he should. Not enough, in my opinion. However, the mom is not, which is curious to me. Because at what point do you just continue to claim to be a victim? Because obviously she was physically abused. But when is the line, or where is the line between being a victim or being part of the problem? I'm guessing after 4 decades of children getting molested by their father, that mom needs to take a step up to the bat here and take some blame. It's really disturbing. So I'm right in the middle of her kind of breaking and stepping back at her dad. And she's like in her 20s, and she can't have a phone or date who she wants to date. Or she can't date this guy who's currently her husband, by the way. He seems to be a godsend. But it's just insane. But I'm getting through this last one, and then I am like switching back to like Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, so that I can like shake up the referrals again, because it's getting crazy. But Mr. Sith is home, so he's going to come in and probably make some noise voluntarily. But yeah, that was insane. So I'm trying to read those, and then I wanted to reread the 5 love languages, right? The Secret to Love that lasts, just to kind of refresh me and Mr. Sith on that. I don't know. I feel like it's easier to get through them like in the past than it is now, because I feel like just sometimes you need to just like fucking listen. Like, just shut up. I don't need to give you a gift to fucking listen. I mean, I understand there's some truth to it, but at one point do you just need to like buck it up because it's life? Do you know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much all I got today. My little rant on books and all of that, and that you should continue reading, because reading is good. It gives us a little, education into stuff that's going on, and certainly makes me appreciate that although I had like a pretty, crappy childhood, could have been worse, right? Could have been worse. And that people overcome things every day, and despite of what goes on. And people also live fantabulous lives and live horrible adulthoods because they just can't fucking cope. You know what I'm saying? And either way, this is exactly why we should always go through life leading with kindness. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.